So at this time, I would like to call the special Board of Finance meeting for June 30th, 2020 to order. We could stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States
of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
And justice for all.
All right, roll call. Ted Dumaine.
Yeah.
Travis Irons.
Present.
Don Cavella.
Here.
Kim Medlin.
Here.
Tom Sinkowitz. Gary Styleboy. Gary, I believe I saw you. In the background. Okay. Keith Shaley.
Here.
And Matt Radin.
Present.
All right. And Kelly, you made it on, right? Just wanted to make sure we do have Kelly, right?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay. All right, good.
Yep.
Very
Was
good. All right. Acceptance of the minutes from the June 17th, 2020 meeting.
I'll move we accept them.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Abstained?
Kim, I abstain.
Motion carries. Oh, sorry. Okay, so one abstention. Kim, thank you. All right. Minutes have been accepted. All right, next item under new business. To discuss and act upon line item transfers in regards to the jail cell bid. Certainly wanted to, before we entertain any motion there, get an update and kind of see where we're at, kind of get a summary as far as what the status is before proceeding. So I believe we have Mario on.
Correct, I'm here.
All right. Hi, thank you, Mario.
You're welcome.
So what can you tell us as far as an update with the bid and the process?
Absolutely. As most of you know, we went with J.H. Humes, an architectural firm who's basically spearheading this for us because we realized it was a lot bigger of a project than we initially anticipated. We had a best guess of $150,000 to replace the jail cells. Now, again, that was a best guess only because in this interim of trying to obtain companies to do our jail cells, we only had one that was willing to actually come out and look at our cells. And he initially, by himself, put in a bid for the amount of $100,000. With that being said, after J.H. Hume was involved, the architectural firm, that company withdrew and said they are no longer going to put in a bid. So right then and there, it goes to kind of show you what that company was going to either give us or what. But I'm glad that we did that because that company in turn completely backed out once they saw the specs and what was exactly needed in order for us to get where we need to go. So our best guess, and through J.H. Humes, we were estimating hopefully in the area of $150,000. Unfortunately, that was not the case. We did anticipate that we would probably only have 2 to 3 companies that would come out to bid this project. It is of a larger scale, but not for companies of this nature. So we're replacing 3 cells where many departments would be replacing upwards between 5, 10, 15, 20 cells, or a prison that has hundreds of cells. So it was a smaller project, but a bigger project for us, if that makes any sense. So with that being said, we did have 2 companies that came in to bid, which we opened on the other day. I don't have that date in front of me, the 25th. And 2 bids came from, one was Mattern Construction, Inc., in the amount of $192,808.09. And the second one was from Diversity Construction Group, LLC, and that came in the amount of $224,000 $224,400. So we did receive 2 bids.
Mario, does this project for the cells, does this also include anything having to do with efficient HVAC?
I'm sorry, you cut in and out right there.
Sorry. So you guys had talked about, I remember early on, that there was deficiencies with the air, the HVAC system there. Does this include that, or is that a separate thing that had to be looked into?
Correct. It sets aside approximately $4,000 for the HVAC system. We anticipated initially that this was going to be a big HVAC issue until we had our mechanic check our HVAC currently that we have, and it is pretty sufficient. They're going to have to do some minor modifications, but not what we initially thought, because we actually thought our whole entire process of our HVAC system was a mess, and it happened to be just a blown motor, which we repaired for $68-ish. So that was that worked out really well for us.
Okay, good.
I can add on from that point in. The Board of Selectmen met earlier tonight. We discussed this issue, and we voted to go forward with Mattern Construction. And I can give a couple of details behind that. With Mattern Construction, I'm doing a little bit of the homework of what they've done in the past. They have actually worked with the state of Connecticut on different projects, to a couple of the major institutions. So they do some quality work for the state. We thought that was good, and we also verified their bid bond that they supplied for this project, that it was a good bond. So that was another thing. They'll be going through another process of having, eventually when they do the project, to come forward with a construction bond. So we'll verify that one as well. They worked in the past with this Department of Corrections at Corrigan twice, and also one time with the Department of Corrections at York.
J.H. Humes, the architectural firm, also worked directly with Mattern on a police facility for Granby PD, and they were on budget and on time, which is very important.
I think the other question here is timeliness as well. Both of them put the bids in for monetary, but also for the time span they thought they would be able to complete the project. Where, what was it, 240? I got it in the paperwork here.
270.
Yeah, 270 days for the other company, and this was 120, I think it was.
Correct.
Which is reasonable, because you're going to go cell by cell until you get them all completed, and it was a reasonable time, so they don't have to worry about the length of time that it took. And if you see, the Board of Selectmen also had a meeting tonight to talk about the line item transfers for other issues that we have for the town, but also directly related to the detention cells. You'll see where we get the money from. The police department has come forward with $138,000 for the detention cells, between salaries of $100, overtime savings of $30, holiday pay for $2,500, uniform for $4,000, training for $2,000. On the town side of it, just to make sure that we were not having to go to the Board of Finance and ask for money to come out of the general fund, there were some savings available from the health insurance of to the tune of $54,309, which will put you right at that number of $192,809.
Now, if this is all from this current year's budget coming up tomorrow or from last year's?
This is the end, what ends tonight.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still current as of tonight midnight.
Hi, this is Kim. I just have a quick question about, I know you had said the construction time was about 112 days.
120.
120?
Yep.
Yep.
So what exactly is the process for that? Will they be working on one cell at a time? Will they rip out all three? And if so, what is the process for, detaining
Yes,
someone?
that's actually a great question. the time frame is because we can't take away all 3 of our cells. We're going to have something where we can house, unfortunately, a prisoner if we need be. In the event, for some reason, due to an error or something happens, whether it's a flood in our cells, we would have to contact a local agency to transfer that prisoner to them. But keeping in mind that really that agency doesn't really want that liability of somebody else's prisoner. So we are going to do everything in our power to make sure that we keep our own prisoners here at the PD.
So basically, it will be done one at a time, and there can still be a male and a female. Just
Correct.
Okay.
Mario, sorry.
Hmm.
Mario, who is that other local agency that you might use?
So we would probably use Putnam PD or actually Norwich PD. In the event we cannot use them, we would actually contact the Department of Corrections. However, for some reason, they only like to take state prisoners versus local prisoners, but we do have a good relationship with them where they have taken some of ours in the past due to suicidal issues. So it does work sometimes, but that can't be guaranteed. But we would reach out to the Chief of Police in Putnam and Norwich and Willimantic.
And these people have already been contacted?
They have not as of yet, but that's a great question.
This is Gary. Would there be an additional cost if you had to transfer a prisoner over to one of them?
No, not to them. It could be additional cost just for us if it requires an extra officer to come in. But as far as transferring that, no, there would not be an extra cost because it would be vice versa. If for some reason they had an issue, we would try to take that.
Everything's reciprocal. Okay.
Correct. Yep. And that's we all have that mutual agreement because we're all part of the Law Enforcement Council. So we do have that agreement where we wouldn't charge one another. And same thing for a major incident. If they need officers, we'll send the officers. It won't cost anything, and vice versa.
Okay.
I have one question for Kevin, because I think he probably would know it right off the top of his head. Do we have any stipulation in our town charter for having a meeting when a line item transfer is beyond a certain dollar amount, or is that only out of the general fund?
It's only when it comes out of the general fund. Because if you're dealing with anything money-wise within your current budget year, you're all set. You just do the line item transfers as long as it goes through the Board of Finance. The way it states it is, whether it's the Board of Education or the Board of Selectmen that have issues, they would approve it first to be brought forth in front of the Board of Finance, and the Board of Finance would then act upon it. Anything over $10,000, like if we didn't have enough money, we had to come to you to say, look, we need an extra money to make this happen, and it'd be anything more than $10,000, then yeah, we'd have to exactly go to the next step, which would be in front of a town meeting. And then if it goes over $50,000 over that, then you'd have to actually have a vote, town vote. So we'll go out to like a referendum at that point.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you. And I guess just a comment I'll add for everybody, I guess the under the police line items, I'm guessing the overtime figure of $30,000 to go towards this probably wasn't realized when it was presented to us a week or so ago. I'm imagining that because we're at the very end of the year that's probably residual. We probably couldn't have put our arms around that dollar figure beforehand.
That's correct too. And also we eliminated, unfortunately, days off for all officers. So nobody was allowed to take days off other than their scheduled days off. So that does save a lot of money in turn too. We just recently lifted that, so officers can take days off now.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Of course, Kevin, starting tomorrow, we're not spending money anymore, right?
That's correct. We're into a freeze. And this is part of, that's a good point, Tom, is because we've worked very hard over the last couple of weeks to make sure that if anything comes up, we put it into the line item transfers, which are with money that we have available. That's one of the reasons why I really wanted to have it on tonight, but I realized that, it was really just the jail cells at this point. But we're working hard. Like I said, just today alone, Water Pollution Control Authority calls up and said, oh, well, they've got an issue with a part that broke. We had the air conditioning unit in the senior van, not only the console one, but also the one over the top. Both of those went. The air conditioning itself on the rec center has issues. We were just informed today about how, oh, by the way, just for a point of reference, the roof on the town highway at this point is 99% done, but then they noticed, oh, we did an inspection of your chimneys. We can get them fixed with the stainless steel double walls at an additional $5,000. So this is at the last minute. I would love to be able to put this in my line item transfers so that everything that we have available happens this year. And exactly what you said, Tom, nothing to be spent for next year coming up. Get everything we have fixed and noted and take care of it, and then hold down the fort as long as we can.
Yeah, and we will at our next meeting, our next regular meeting in July. That'll be our final revisit of line item transfers, and then we should be good at that point.
Yep.
For a while. So. All right, well, Mario, thank you for that update. Definitely shows us how we got to this point, because I do remember when we had first done the tour, it was around the neighborhood, I think like 92 at that point. It was like back in January, and of course we've now gotten to here, but can't predict these things. And certainly COVID didn't help timing wise of, wanting to get this done sooner rather than later. So are there any other questions or comments? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve line item transfers for the jail cell bid.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, Gary and Don. Any other discussion? All right, and just before taking the call, what was the final figure again? Because I had like 192, but what was was it 808?
$192,808.09.
9 cents. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Where does 9 cents come in from?
That's a valid question. I have no idea.
Yeah. All right. If there's no other discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries to approve the line item transfers for the jail cell bid totaling $192,808.09.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, next, citizens participation. I believe our Mr. Peterson is on. If he has anything, I have not received any emails or calls, any correspondence from anybody for citizens participation, but if Mr. Peterson or anybody else would like to participate? Nope. And Kevin, you got nothing, I assume, as far as any inquiries?
No, we're all set.
Nope. Okay. Very good. In that case, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I second.
Okay, Ted, Kim, very good. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? We are adjourned, 6:51. See you all at the next regular meeting.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Happy fiscal New Year's Eve.
Hey, Gary, how's the lawn mowing going?
Pretty dry.